On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
A quiet man with a walking stick shook empires, proving moral courage could confront violence and still change the course of history. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on October 2, 1869, in Porbandar, a coastal town in western India. As a young man, he traveled to London to study law, shy and uncertain, unaware that restraint and discipline would become his greatest strengths. Gandhi rose to global prominence not through power, but through resistance without hatred. His early activism in South Africa, where he fought racial injustice, shaped his belief in nonviolent protest. Returning to India, he became the central figure in the struggle against British rule. The Salt March of 1930 turned a simple walk into a worldwide symbol of defiance. Years later, his leadership helped guide India to independence in 1947, proving that mass movements could succeed without armed revolt. Behind the public figure was a man of strict personal principles. Gandhi lived simply, spinning his own cloth and embracing poverty by choice. He fasted not only for political reasons, but as a form of moral self-discipline. Few know he constantly questioned himself, writing openly about doubt, failure, and the cost of leadership. On January 30th, 1948, the day we remember today, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated at the age of 78. He was shot at point-blank range by Nathuram Godse while walking to a prayer meeting at Birla House in New Delhi. The man who preached peace fell to violence. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. India was plunged into mourning. Millions lined the streets for his funeral procession. World leaders across continents expressed shock and grief. Albert Einstein would later say that future generations might scarcely believe such a man ever lived. Today, Gandhi's legacy reaches far beyond India. His philosophy of nonviolent resistance inspired figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela. His name has become synonymous with peaceful change, moral courage, and the power of conscience over force. He left the world without wealth or weapons, but with an idea strong enough to outlive him, reminding humanity that how we fight matters as much as why we fight. She had the voice of an angel, lost everything to the darkness, then returned with scars that turned into unforgettable music. Marianne Faithfull was born on December 29, 1946, in Hampstead, London. Raised between privilege and instability, she was discovered at just 17 years old at a Rolling Stones party, still a convent schoolgirl with a fragile, unmistakable voice. Her rise to fame was sudden and overwhelming. In 1964, she became a symbol of the British invasion with the hit single As Tears Go By, written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. The song made her an international star overnight. She quickly became a fixture of the swinging London scene, acting in films, releasing charting albums, and stepping into the cultural spotlight as both artist and muse. Her relationship with Mick Jagger placed her at the center of rock history, influencing the Rolling Stones' sound and image during their most iconic years. Behind the fame, however, was a far darker reality. Faithfull's life unraveled in the late 1960s as addiction took hold. She lost custody of her son, her career collapsed, and for a time she lived homeless on the streets of London. Yet her most remarkable achievement came later. In 1979, she released Broken English, an album forged from pain, survival, and honesty. Her voice, now rough and wounded, became her greatest strength, Critics hailed it as a masterpiece, and Faithfull reclaimed her place as a serious, fearless artist. Offstage, Marianne Faithfull was a survivor in the truest sense. She battled heroin addiction, anorexia, breast cancer, and later severe COVID-19 complications. She spoke openly about her struggles, refusing to romanticize them. She believed truth, not perfection, was the artist's responsibility. On January 30th, 2025, the day we remember today, Marianne Faithfull died at the age of 78. She passed away peacefully in London after a long period of health complications. Her death marked the end of a life lived intensely, painfully, and unapologetically. The reaction was immediate and emotional. Musicians, actors, and fans across generations shared tributes, calling her a trailblazer who redefined vulnerability in music. Artists from rock, punk, and alternative scenes acknowledged her influence, not just for her sound, but for her honesty. Today, Marianne Faithfull is remembered as more than a 1960s icon. She became a symbol of artistic rebirth. Her journey proved that reinvention is possible, that broken voices can tell the most powerful stories, and that survival itself can be art. She didn't just sing about heartbreak and loss. She lived them, endured them, and turned them into a legacy that will echo long after the final note fades. He danced with fire, commanded the stage with elegance, and helped define Broadway's golden energy, even when history didn't always say his name. Hinton Battle was born on November 29, 1956, in Newark, New Jersey. From an early age, movement spoke louder than words for him. As a child, he trained in dance with relentless focus, discovering that the stage felt more like home than anywhere else. His rise to fame came through Broadway, where talent meets endurance. In 1981, Battle originated the role of the Scarecrow in The Wiz, earning his first Tony Award and instantly marking himself as a force in musical theater. He followed that triumph with another Tony for Sophisticated Ladies, proving his mastery of classic rhythm and style. In 1989, he reached new heights, portraying the engineer in Miss Saigon, a demanding role that earned him his third Tony Award and secured his place among Broadway's elite performers. Despite these achievements, Hinton Battle remained deeply private. He avoided celebrity culture and instead dedicated himself to craft and mentorship. A lesser-known side of his life was his passion for teaching. He later founded the Hinton Battle Academy of the Performing Arts, committed to passing discipline and excellence on to the next generation, especially young artists who reminded him of himself. On January 30th, 2024, the day we remember today, Hinton Battle died at the age of 67. He passed away in Los Angeles after a period of illness. The stage lights dimmed quietly, without spectacle, much like the man himself preferred. The reaction was immediate within the theater world. Fellow performers, choreographers, and directors shared tributes filled with respect and gratitude. Broadway remembered him not only as a three-time Tony winner, but as a standard of excellence. For many artists, his death felt personal, like losing a guiding presence just off stage. Today, Hinton Battle's legacy lives on in movement, rhythm, and precision. His performances helped shape modern Broadway dance, blending storytelling with physical power. More importantly, his influence continues through the artists he trained, inspired, and believed in when few others did. He may not have chased the spotlight, but every time a curtain rises and a dancer steps forward with confidence, a part of Hinton Battle is still there, moving with them. He found sudden fame on television screens worldwide, but behind the spotlight, his story spiraled into silence, scandal, and an abrupt, tragic end. Mark Wayne Salling was born on August 17, 1982, in Dallas, Texas. Raised in Los Angeles, he was drawn to music early, teaching himself guitar and writing songs long before acting ever entered his plans. Salling rose to fame in 2009 when he was cast as Noah Puckerman on the musical television series Glee. The show became a global phenomenon almost overnight. His tough exterior and vulnerable moments made Puck a memorable character, and Salling's musical performances helped define the series' energy. He also contributed original music, releasing a solo album and embracing his identity as a musician, not just an actor. For a brief moment, it seemed his future in entertainment was wide open. Away from the cameras, Salling lived more quietly than his on-screen persona suggested. He enjoyed writing music in private and described himself as introspective and reserved. However, his personal life became increasingly troubled as legal issues emerged, casting a long shadow over his career and public image. On January 30th, 2018, the day we remember today, Mark Salling died at the age of 35. He was found in Sunland, California, and his death was ruled a suicide by hanging. It occurred just weeks before he was scheduled to be sentenced in a federal case, marking a deeply tragic conclusion to an already painful chapter. The reaction was complex and conflicted. Fans of Glee expressed shock and sorrow, remembering the character they loved and the talent they once admired. Others reflected on the seriousness of the crimes he had admitted to, acknowledging the harm involved while recognizing the loss of life. Cast members offered restrained, careful statements focusing on grief without celebration. Today, Mark Salling's legacy remains deeply complicated. He is remembered as part of a cultural phenomenon that shaped a generation of television and music fans. At the same time, his story stands as a stark reminder of how talent does not erase accountability and how personal choices can unravel even the brightest opportunities. His life ended quietly, leaving behind unanswered questions, mixed emotions, and a sobering reminder that fame cannot shield anyone from consequence or inner collapse. He helped change human intimacy forever, yet spent his later years asking whether science alone could ever explain love, loss, and responsibility. Karl Gerasi was born on October 29, 1923, in Vienna, Austria. As a teenager fleeing Nazi persecution, he escaped to the United States, arriving with little more than determination and an extraordinary talent for chemistry. His rise to prominence reshaped modern life. In 1951, while working in Mexico City, Gerasi played a crucial role in the synthesis of norethindrone, a key component of the first effective oral contraceptive pill. This breakthrough transformed reproductive health and gave millions of women unprecedented control over their bodies. Beyond the pill, he became one of the world's leading chemists, authoring thousands of scientific papers and mentoring generations of researchers. His work bridged pure science and real-world impact in a way few ever achieve. But Gerasi was never content to be defined by chemistry alone. Later in life, he reinvented himself as a writer, exploring the ethical and emotional consequences of scientific progress. He coined the term science in fiction to describe his novels and plays, which delved into ambition, ego, and moral responsibility in research communities. A lesser-known side of his life was marked by deep personal tragedy. The death of his daughter Pamela in 1978 profoundly changed him, pushing him toward art, literature, and reflection as a form of survival. On January 30th, 2015, the day we remember today, Karl Gerasi died at the age of 91. He passed away from complications of cancer at his home in San Francisco, California. The scientist who altered human reproduction spent his final years quietly, surrounded by books, ideas, and unfinished questions. The reaction to his death was global. Scientists, writers, feminists, and educators paid tribute to a man whose work sparked both liberation and debate. Many reflected on how a single laboratory breakthrough could ripple through culture, politics, and personal lives across decades. Today, Carl Djerasi's legacy is complex and enduring. He is remembered as one of the fathers of the birth control pill, a symbol of scientific progress and social change. At the same time, his writings continue to challenge how society thinks about ethics, responsibility, and the human cost of innovation. He proved that science can change the world, but wisdom comes from asking what that change truly means, long after the formulas are complete. He rarely played the hero, yet his calm voice and steady presence quietly shaped some of Hollywood's most enduring stories. John Herrick McIntyre was born on June 27, 1907, in Spokane, Washington. Before acting ever took hold, he studied law and worked in radio, developing a deep, authoritative voice that would later become his signature. McIntyre's rise to fame came gradually, built on reliability rather than stardom. He became a familiar face in classic westerns and war films during the 1940s and 1950s, often portraying sheriffs, generals, judges, or wise authority figures. One of his most notable film roles was in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, where his composed demeanor added gravity to the film's unsettling mystery. Television later cemented his legacy. As the narrator and on-screen host of Wagon Train, he guided audiences through stories of frontier hardship and hope. He also found lasting recognition as rancher Christopher Hale on the Virginian, a role that showcased his quiet strength and moral steadiness. Off-screen, John McIntyre lived a life marked by discipline and service. A lesser-known fact is that he served as a bomber pilot during World War II, flying dangerous missions before returning to Hollywood. Acting for him was never about glamour. It was a craft, approached with professionalism and humility. He valued consistency over fame and often described himself as a working actor, content to support stories rather than dominate them. On January 30th, 1991, the day we remember today, John McIntyre died at the age of 83. He passed away from the complications related to emphysema in Pasadena, California. His death marked the quiet end of a career that had spanned more than 4 decades. The reaction was respectful and heartfelt, especially within the television community. Colleagues remembered him as dependable, kind, and unfailingly prepared. Audiences recognized his face instantly, even if they never knew his name, a testament to how deeply he had woven himself into American storytelling. Today, John McIntyre is remembered as one of Hollywood's great character actors. He represented authority without arrogance, strength without cruelty. His performances brought credibility to countless films and series, grounding fictional worlds in calm realism. He never chased the spotlight, yet his presence still lingers, steady and familiar, like a trusted voice guiding us through stories we continue to return to. Her stitches were small, her hands steady, yet her name became forever tied to a nation learning how to see itself. Betsy Ross was born on January 1, 1752, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Raised in a Quaker family, she learned sewing and upholstery as a child, practical skills that would quietly place her near history's center. Her rise to fame did not come through speeches or battles, but through a story passed down generations. Betsy Ross ran her own upholstery business during the American Revolutionary era, an uncommon achievement for a woman at the time. According to family tradition, in 1776, she was asked by George Washington and other leaders to sew the first American flag. While historians still debate the exact details, the image of Ross crafting a symbol of unity became deeply rooted in the national imagination. Beyond the flag legend, she contributed tangibly to the war effort by sewing flags, tents, and uniforms for the Continental Army. Away from patriotic symbolism, Betsy Ross lived a life shaped by resilience. She was widowed 3 times, each loss tied to the turbulence of war and early American life. Despite personal hardship, she continued working to support her family, running her business for decades. A lesser-known detail is that she was quietly excommunicated from her Quaker community for marrying outside the faith, a painful consequence of choosing love over strict tradition. On January 30th, 1836, the day we remember today, Betsy Ross died at the age of 84. She passed away peacefully in Philadelphia, the city where she was born and where her life unfolded alongside the birth of a nation. The cause of death was natural causes, after a long life marked by endurance rather than acclaim. In the years following her death, her story grew rather than faded. Her grandson publicly shared the flag story decades later, and Americans embraced it as a symbol of humble patriotism. Betsy Ross became a familiar name in classrooms, textbooks, and celebrations, representing the often unseen contributions of women to the nation's founding. Today, Betsy Ross is remembered as both a historical figure and a cultural symbol. Whether legend or fact, her story highlights the power of ordinary citizens shaping extraordinary moments. She stands for craftsmanship, perseverance, and the quiet labor behind national identity. She never sought recognition, yet her legacy remains stitched into American memory, a reminder that history is often made by steady hands working in silence. Her laughter could fill a room. Her characters made us smile, cry, and laugh all at once. And today, we remember her. Catherine Ann O'Hara was born on March 4, 1954, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. As a young girl, she loved performing and making people laugh. She dropped out of high school to chase her creative dreams and never looked back. She rose to fame with a brilliant career that spanned more than 5 decades. In the mid-1970s, she joined Second City Television, where her sharp wit and comic timing first captured attention. That led to film roles, but she became a household name in the 1990s. She starred as Kevin McAllister's resourceful mother in Home Alone, and Home Alone 2, enchanting audiences around the world with warmth and humor. Years later, she brought even deeper nuance to television as the unforgettable Moira Rose on Schitt's Creek, a role that earned her Emmy, Golden Globe, and Screen Actors Guild Awards and cemented her place among comedy's greats. Behind the laughter was a woman who cherished family and collaboration. She was married to production designer Bo Welch for more than 3 decades, and together they raised 2 sons. Her closest friendships in entertainment ran deep, especially with longtime collaborator Eugene Levy, with whom she shared some of her most beloved work. Off-camera, she was known for her generosity, humility, and the way she lifted up fellow performers. On January 30th, 2026, the day we remember today, Catherine O'Hara died at the age of 71. She passed away in Los Angeles after a brief illness, her family confirmed, though specific details about the cause have not yet been released. The reaction was immediate and emotional. Tributes poured in from fans, co-stars, and comedians around the world. Social media filled with memories of her iconic roles, and many spoke of the joy she brought into their lives. Fellow actors described her as a mentor, a friend, and a beloved presence in the entertainment community. Today, we remember Catherine O'Hara not just for her roles, but for the heart she put into every performance. Her talent made characters unforgettable, and her kindness made people better. The laughter she shared lives on, echoing in every smile she helped create.